Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to talk about the XDefiant Closed Beta and share some of my thoughts and impressions about it. The Closed Beta is live right now. I believe it goes until April 23rd, so there are plenty of opportunities and time for you to still get in there and try it out for yourself if you have not. Easiest way I'm aware to get a code is to go and watch a Twitch stream that has drops enabled, and if you watch for, I think, 30 minutes, you just get an invite to the beta. So it's very easy to get in, and there's plenty of time for you to do so. But I just wanted to share some of my general impressions of this beta because I feel like I have a pretty interesting perspective on the game and the whole matter. I have been playtesting this game for a long time, ever since the first more public one that they did all the way back in August of 2021. I took part in that, took part in many of the insider sessions they had throughout 2022, and now here we are in spring of 23. So it's been quite a while. There have been a lot of iterations and improvements. What are my thoughts about it? Obviously, the number one question that everybody is asking about this game is, will it be the COD killer? That's what everyone is saying. And I feel like I'm maybe far enough removed from this genre and from that discussion. I enjoy FPS games, but they are not the thing that I played the most throughout my entire gaming history. And whereas somebody who is in that position, I feel maybe they see this game and they think they've seen COD decline so much over the last several years. Obviously, that's not everybody's opinion, but some do feel that way. And so they see this game going back to some of the ideals that they saw in 2012, 13, 14, and they think, wow, this is really going to reinvigorate people to want to play this, and it's really going to end up killing COD. I think the truth is no one single game could kill off a franchise with over a decade's worth of fan base and loyalty and just precedence, right? Could XDefiant make a significant impact in some of the trend of the industry shifting away from Call of Duty? Absolutely. Will it, however? Let's talk about it. So this beta features one thing that I think is very important for almost every type of gamer, and that is content. There are 14 maps at least going to be at launch. I think most of those are in here, if not all of them. There are going to be several different factions you can play. There's different weapons in every category you can choose from. There's skins you can unlock that are just from the beta only in the reward track there. You get a look at the mastery system, different challenges, the mods for all the weapons. There's a lot of stuff to dive into. And I can personally attest to the fact that all of this stuff has increased in quality and polish ever since I first played with some of it, like I said, all the way back in August of 2021. Ultimately, I think the number one thing with any game is transparency and communication, and you have seen that absolutely with the development team here. You have the likes of Mark Rubin, who is one of the leads on this project. He used to work in the Call of Duty sphere on COD Ghost specifically. He's been very open and very honest about the progress of the game, different features that they're planning, thinking about, getting feedback, all of that stuff. Different people across Twitter and other spaces have been talking a lot about the game, and it's very refreshing to see a development team so open and willing to communicate with the desires and, passion of the fan base. And it's not an understatement to say that a lot of improvements have been made to XDefiant ever since it first had that reveal back in 2021. Some that come to mind for me personally, again, because I played it all the way back then, the tone and theme. This game, when it was first unveiled, was touted as a, punk rock style aesthetic shooter. What does that even mean? I have no idea. I don't really know what they were going for back then, but it was very odd. It was much more colorful and cheery. They had some different factions in there, a bit of a different palette, a bit of just a different flavor of the game. They've walked that back quite a bit, and the game used to be Tom Clancy's XDefiant. It was named a Tom Clancy game, and a lot of people took issue with that, and that was something they also removed throughout the course of development in 2022. So now, heading into release, I think the game has a much more solid and recognizable brand and theme. The movement and the gunplay in this beta, a lot of people are saying feels very smooth, and I would agree with that. You can see a lot of people and creators who do play a lot of FPS games who have been streaming this and saying that they really like how it feels. It reminds them of some Call of Duty titles from, like I said, a few generations ago, when all of that was going on back in the early 2010s. And that's part of why I think XDefiant could certainly take a significant amount of an audience from Call of Duty. They could build a base around this idea that it's a bit of a different style of how to build an FPS game compared to how Call of Duty seems to be doing it these days. Again, that's not to say that it's going to kill off Call of Duty, because that's simply not going to happen, but it can certainly build an audience off of that if that's the direction they want to go in. One other thing to point out and reference is that one of the biggest complaints of this beta is that there are some serious hit registration issues, and a lot of the netcode seems to be very awkward, with a lot of teleporting you'll see going on and getting shot around corners and things like that. Very problematic for a game that has so much of competition at its core, and it's going to have a ranked mode at launch. Well, the good news, and this feeds into some of that transparency I was talking about earlier, is that the developers have confirmed that a big netcode rework is being done for the game. In fact, it's already live in their internal builds that they're playing. It just wasn't quite ready to make it into this build for the beta. So that's going to get cleared up before launch, which is fantastic. As I said, that's probably my biggest issue with the beta at this point, and I think it's kind of become more prevalent over time as these tests went on. It didn't used to be this big of an issue, so I'm glad they're doing that. Hopefully that makes it way more stable, way more, consistent and enjoyable. At the end of the day, if you're on the fence about XDefiant, here's two things I will say. It's fun, and it's free. Whether you try out the beta or whether you try out the game when it comes out, you don't have to spend a dime to try it out for yourself, so I say there's no reason not to. I think there will be a lot of people who really do enjoy this game, and it will remind them of games that they used to love in the past. Again, I'm not somebody who has that history, so I'm maybe not the most versed person to talk about it in that sense. But being as someone who was most drawn to this game because of the connections it has to the Division franchise, which is what I primarily cover, I have been very, enthused by XDefiant ever since I first started playing it, and certainly I will have fun playing it from time to time when it fully releases. So those are some of my thoughts. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of gameplay at the end here with no audio for me talking, just so that you can get a better sense of the game. And if you want to try it out, as I said, plenty of ways to still get into this beta, and you still have quite a few days to try it out. I hope you enjoyed. If so, a like would be greatly appreciated on the video, and be sure to click that subscribe button and let me know if you want to see some more XDefiant videos when it comes out. I'm certainly not opposed to it. If you've played the beta, I would love to hear some of your thoughts on the game down below and what you're thinking overall about the game as it heads towards its release. That's going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold, out.
Capture zone is moving. Sending new location to your offset. The zone's in danger.
I see you!
We're locking down the zone.
Capture zone clear. Tango down.
Charging!
Grenades away!
Oh, in a flash! Grenade out!
Retaliation.
No retaliatory strike! A boom!
Hey there! All right!